Hello, Angela Hill. Hope you're still here. Sorry for the delay with some technical difficulties. So I'll wait a few seconds for people to log in. Thank you guys for attending. All right. So again, we're back and we're talking about COVID-19 isolation solutions. Last night we were talking with Aaron Olinger, and he came and spoke to us about how to prepare for any type of emergency, whether it be in this case isolation or any type of natural disaster things, the things that we need to actually go and purchase so that we can prep and be prepared for the unthinkable. Today we're going to cover another topic that's becoming it's going to become a major issue if it's not addressed now, and that is you know having to homeschool our children now. So this evening I have my friend Kyra Barr, and I'm going to add
Hi.
her now.
Hi.
And hello, how are you doing this
Hi.
evening, Kyra?
I'm doing good. Ready to have a wonderful conversation.
So Kyra, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Kyra Barr, and I am a proud graduate of Fisk University, and I am an herbalist in training, practice all of the time. And I'm a homeschooling mother of three children still. One graduated, and I enjoy homeschooling. And let's have a good time tonight.
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you
So,
for having me.
oh, you're welcome. So basically, um, I'm dealing with the issue as well as millions of other parents across the United States. Now we're going to have to actually homeschool our children. Alexander's school, they told us that he would be out of school for at least 3 weeks. They
Okay.
might extend it to 8 weeks, or it might be that he might be out for the whole school year. So there's no clear end to this right now. So as a result of that, I have now, and I've never had to homeschool anyone. So I thought
Right.
since I'm dealing with this, I know millions of other parents are dealing with this, and a lot of the other parents, some of them are having to work full time at home and also educate their children. And there was like
Yes.
no clear guidance from the schools about what to do other than they say being a homeschooling parent. Where do we start?
I first want to start by telling everyone just take a moment as a family, deep breath, and talk about what it is that you want to do moving forward. We're all learning and growing in this changing time and having a conversation about what does school look like, because homeschool is very, very different than traditional school. It's not going to be a classroom setting where you have a teacher giving an assignment. This is your home, and it should feel warm and inviting, and you want your child to feel as if they can grow with you. So the first important factor is this is not traditional public school. This is what you and your family create together as a unit.
Okay, so what are some things that you recommend that we get as parents to, start that transition? Are there things we need to purchase? Is there like a room we need to dedicate to like a classroom, or, place in an office, or like what do we do to set up?
I would encourage families, and I'm going to take my camera and pan the room so that you can see. I'm living in an apartment, and what I've done is I've designated one area for our learning and for the children. And you can just make it as simple or as elaborate as you'd like. But this is what I have right here. This is my house, and this right here, as we're looking, there's our map, there's our alphabet, there are different activities and things for the family to do. And I want to encourage families, incorporate your children, because as much as it is a classroom setting, this is your home. So have them go with you to the Dollar Tree, to Target, Goodwill, and find things that the children are interested in. When you engage your children and incorporate them into the process, it's going to make them feel a lot more involved, and they're going to have a wonderful time doing it. Right here, this is our map. My son and I and my children, we do our map in the morning, and then we have the alphabet, and we just constantly are going through different things, looking at what we can do together for the day. But just be as creative as you want. But I want to definitely preface and say, don't spend a lot of money. Everyone's going through. We want to be as frugal as possible. Find bright colors, things that you're studying, whether it's astronomy, if it's the alphabet for younger students that are possibly in high school, you want to incorporate things that they're going to be studying and working with.
Okay, so should we like create like a schedule? And I know when children are in school, especially public school system as well as the private school system, they have like a schedule, like 8 o'clock they're in English, 10 o'clock or whatever, and then they have a
Right.
lunchtime and things like that. Should we establish some type of schedule like that, or should we fill out the children? Like, what's going to be the best thing to do?
Let me share with you what I have right here. Just give me one
Okay.
second. I think the most important thing moving in the direction of growth as a family is sitting down and trying to keep things as relaxed as possible. You can have a schedule, but you'll find there, and as you'll put it, will not always follow through. But I have a book here that I often
Okay.
use. And I'm going to see if I can find it. Hopefully it doesn't fall because I have a lot of things I want to share with you all tonight. Give me one moment, just a second.
Okay.
This is what I found at Target, very inexpensive, if you can see it. And what it says, it's a lesson planner. So lesson planners are really helpful because what they help you to do, they help you to have a schedule, not only for your child, but for yourself. And then inside of this planner, it'll have the months and the days of the week.
Okay.
And then it'll have a box where you can write the date, and then you can do the time. And example, you wake up in there rushing up to like write it down. But you might have a day where you wake up, someone's not feeling well. So you'll go from 8 to 8:30 and you'll say, okay, let's just readjust. So it's just listening to yourself, talking to your children, and just working with what fits for your household because a lot of parents are working. And so you're just going to have to play things by ear. But as you go along, you'll learn what's good for you and your family.
Okay. Can you still hear me?
I can. Are you hearing me
Can you still
clearly?
hear me?
I can still hear you. I can still hear you. I can. I can hear you now. It's paused for a moment. Maybe there's a few more technical difficulties. Right now, we're having a few technical difficulties, but I'm communicating with Nadia through my cell phone. So she asked me to share with you how to help multiple children in different grades and different levels. So what I do, I have a child that is on the autism spectrum. I start her out early in the morning, and then I have my son come on in the later part of that morning. So for me, I stagger my morning and I make sure that each child has what they need. So my son will do reading, he'll do writing, and then I'll transition in with Kalila, and then we'll do something also. Let me show you some of the things that I do with my youngest son. This is an excellent book, and you can find these at Target in the $3 bin, and it's my little blue book. And inside of this book, this is his adding and his math portion. So he'll take his work and you'll be able to see a little bit of the work that he's done. And he'll do his multiplication, he'll do his adding, he'll do his numbers. And this is an excellent way for children to keep everything in order, keep things nice and easy for you to manage so that you can keep up with what they're doing. Now, this is for Kalila. Because she's nonverbal, it doesn't mean that she's not able to communicate. So I love using these flashcards. I'll take these cards and I'll have her point and I'll say, Kalila, what do you see? And she'll point, she'll say triangle, and then we'll go to the next card, we'll say star, and then after that we'll go to square. And it's very important, if you have a child that has special needs or that is autistic or with other learning disabilities, find out your child's learning strengths. Learning what their strengths are helps you to build their character, and it helps you to find what are the things that you can actually help them grow with. So with her, she is a visual learner. So I make sure that I have activities that are geared with engaging her in a proactive way where she can communicate effectively with me. And then we go on to making sure that she understands through touching. If you have older students that are in high school, it's very important that you have structured activities for them, especially if they're coming from ninth grade through 12th. And so I would encourage journal writing, I would encourage reading, and also having a specific plan because again, parents are working. This is a very new situation for everyone. So you want to teach your children how to work without assistance. It's important to build up that strength, to give them the tools that they need, but you also have things that you have to do for your household. So having that time in the morning where you communicate effectively, give out the lesson plan, and if they need your assistance, they can always ask. But giving your child that proper foundation so that they know that they're capable and they're smart and they're more than equipped to do what they need to do will help you through this transitional time. Let me look at a few more questions on my phone. Something that Nadia and I discussed was the importance of learning what your child needs. In traditional school, you're put in a classroom and you're with other students. This is your home, this is your sanctuary. So, what I encourage parents to do is to sit down and find out what are your child's strengths? What do they like to do? Do you have a child that loves to cook? Do you have a child that likes to work with his hands? Each child will have their own ideas and thoughts, and it's important to incorporate them in the homeschooling process so that they feel a part. Because right now, everyone's learning and growing, and you're all doing your best to make sure that you transition and do it with the least amount of stress as possible. There's going to be difficulties, like today. The computer's not working. So you might have a morning where you have an afternoon and everything just doesn't go the way you do. But you just take your time, look at what you're dealing with, and you go from there. Things that are very helpful for families as we're starting out with this new idea of homeschooling, if you've never done it, is sitting down and saying to yourself, what can I learn with my child? And so there might be an activity, say in the morning you wake up for breakfast and you have to cook breakfast. That is chemistry. You talk to them about how you make your eggs, how you cook. All of those things can be incorporated into the homeschool lesson plan. And something that's very important to our family is our cultural continuity. So making sure that you have exercises and books and activities that talk about who you are culturally is very important. The proper foundation is very important in those first few weeks as you're getting adjusted to this new way of living. So let me find some books that I want to share with you that we use in our home. I love books. If there's one thing that anyone knows about me is I just love books. And so I've made it very, very important to have books in the house for my children. We have a small library and they can go pick out the books that they want to read for the day. And then we'll have story time and then we'll also have guided reading. I have a younger son. He's still learning how to read. And so I read stories to him. And then sometimes my oldest daughter, she'll come and read with him as well. So every family is going to have different challenges. But if you have an older sibling, they can work with the younger children while you help in another area and aspect. Let me check for more questions. A few things that are very important that we remember as we are transitioning with all of the things that are taking place. It's important that when your children complete their assignments, that you have a folder designated for things that they've done throughout the week. I would encourage you to have them write their name if they're able, the date, and the assignment. That way, you can keep track of what they're doing. So if you decide for your children to go back to traditional school, you'll have something to show their teachers of what they've done, activities that they participated in. And then if you decide to continue on with homeschooling, it's a good way for you to be able to say, this is what you've accomplished, and this is what we've been doing throughout the year. Let me show you what that type of folder looks like. This is a very simple folder. I'm a very frugal parent. If anyone knows how hard it is to make some money and keep it in your pocket, I don't like to spend any more than I have to. So this can be purchased from Dollar Tree, Walmart, or wherever you shop that's very inexpensive for you and your family. And what we do is once an assignment is completed, we take it, we put it inside of the folder, date, and put it in there. And if you want to become a little more organized, Right here on the side, you can put reading, writing, arithmetic, science, whatever it is that you're doing for that week, you can chronologically put it in order. So that way you can go back if a child is having a difficulty assignment, they're struggling with something, you can always go back, go to it again, and then revisit it. Because I want you to know this first few weeks of homeschooling, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have difficult moments, you're going to have challenges, but you're learning. And the one thing that most teachers won't tell you, especially this is why homeschooling is very much different from public school, your child is actually teaching you. You're learning together. So this is a time for everyone to take a moment and just enjoy one another. What I love doing with my children is just listening to them, asking them, what can I do to help you grow? Because this is a time to cultivate encouraging words and communication. And in your communication with your child, make sure that it's effective. You want to speak clearly, authoritatively, and make sure they're comprehending. Because depending on the way your child learns and how they process, you might have a visual learner. They learn very well, again, with pictures, things of that nature. You might have a child that learns better listening on headphones. You might give them an audiobook and then have them do a book report. You might have a child like I have that loves to work with his hands. So that child is a kinesthetic learner or what is called a tactile learner. You want to do things that they can touch, make Play-Doh. You want to have them create and craft. Find out your child's learning style and cater their work to help them in their environment. I'm definitely for having assignments that are some paper based, but get outside. Go look at a tree, take a leaf and ask yourself, well, what type of leaf is this? What am I learning? How does it smell? Engage all of your senses. And these are effective ways to get your child involved with the classroom process, and they're going to feel good about what they're doing. So let me check my phone and see if there's any other questions that are coming through. Okay, we're going to wait for a few questions. So let's talk about the difficult days. You're going to have days where your child is just not going to want to cooperate. As parents, again, this is where homeschooling is difficult and challenging, but it's worth it. Just like right now, my son is coming out and he's here, and this is a part of the new life that we're living. But we work with our children. So if they're frustrated or they're having a difficult moment, you sit down and you talk to your child. Don't get frustrated. Work with your child and ask them, why are you upset? Why are you crying? Try as much as possible to figure out what they're going through so that you can help them through the process. They want to do well, you want them to do well. So it's about making sure that your connection with your child is secure, because there are going to be days, again, where you're going to feel overwhelmed. What do I do? Work with what you have. You're capable. You can do this. Our ancestors did it before us, and we can do it now. And create an environment. If you have families in the neighborhood that you can connect with, Skype, maybe one day you can all meet together in an environment safely and have homeschool dates where you teach a subject in tandem and then they teach another subject the next day. Just work with the individuals in your community that you can relate to and see if you can build that way. Because again, we're all learning and these are transitional times, but don't make it harder than it has to be. This is a time to grow and learn with your child, and we'll all get through this. So I'm going to check my phone for a few more questions. One moment. If you have younger children that have been going to daycares and now that the daycares are closed, your house is going to be a little home for them as well. These are some activities that will be very helpful for your younger children, and you'll find it very fun and engaging for them. These are puzzles, again, that I've had for a number of years. I use these with Kalila. They've got really great chunky pieces remove and put in. This helps with fine motor skills, and it gives them an opportunity to prove to you that they can do it. I know with children that are younger, the ages between 2 years old to 5, they're still learning their dexterity. So giving them a puzzle, having them remove all of the pieces and then placing them back, that's good eye-hand coordination, and they're really going to enjoy it. And then if you have a child that's nonverbal, like my daughter who's on the autism spectrum, you can help with color recognition. You can also help them with putting the pieces back in place and making things transitional easy for you and your family. And I've got a few of these. Let me show you what they look like. I really like this one. It has bright colors. It's important for a child's first learning years, especially children that are coming home, making sure that you incorporate beautiful colors. And this is good foundation for your other children as well. They like to do puzzles. Puzzles stimulate the left and right hemisphere of the brain. So it's really important to engage your children and find things that you can do together as a family.
Can you hear me, Kyra?
Yes.
So y'all was watching on YouTube while I was waiting for the computer to reload. So you did a very good job. Very good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
My apologies, everybody. It's raining really hard here, and I don't know if that's affecting the internet, but it has frozen up twice on me. I don't know
Yes,
if
I
it's
can.
affecting this app or whatever. But she did very well.
Oh, thank you. And I
You're
just want to
welcome.
say thank you to Nadia for all of the wonderful things that she's doing for our community and just giving me an opportunity to share with families tonight. And this is what our lives are like now. You will have homeschool days where the computer shuts down. It's not what you thought, but we're working together, and that's the most important thing.
I'm gonna stop my camera, as I don't know if it's my camera that's causing the issue.
Okay.
Trying to mess up again. Thank you, appreciable
Okay.
asset. Trying to think what haven't you covered. Did anybody have any questions that I can put up on the screen here, or
Okay.
let's see here. Angela Hill. Angela Hill said one of the things I loved about homeschooling was the flexibility of doing something differently on those challenging days. Yeah, like Kyra was
Yes.
saying. I mean, anything can happen if it's computer day and you're having issues with the weather or outside that'll affect your internet. Then you can't do computer day, so then you have to come up with something else. Um, it's just gonna be a challenge now though, because as they keep isolating us more and more into the house, like there's not a lot of things that you can do in the home. Um, I know here they're allowing people to go to parks, but I think in some cities they're actually like
Right.
literally locking you down into your home. Um, I don't know. Did you cover like some activities like that you can do around the home, or maybe in the yard, or if you have a
Yes.
yard, everybody
Got
doesn't
some
have
things right here. Let me grab them.
that. Okay.
This I call my box of delights. And in here, I have different activities for my children. I have several games, opposites, rhyming, we have sight words, and I really encourage parents to use educational games. Do different things every day. If you can't go outside because of the current situation, have your children sit on the floor, play marbles. And that's a time where you can show them how to do math. When you're cooking, say for instance, you're going to have pizza for dinner. You're going to teach them fractions. If we cut the pizza in half, that's one half. If we're pouring bread and making bread biscuits, and I know I said pouring bread, hey, it happens. You just work with what you have. This is a learning time for everybody. But having these games, they're very important. And then another thing that I really, really enjoy, a beautiful parent reached out to me. I was having difficulties with my youngest son with writing. And I just was having a very difficult time. She told me about a salt tray. So let me show you what that looks like. I didn't ask her
Okay.
for permission to say her name, but if she's watching tonight, she knows who she is, and she has been such an encouragement to me. But she told me about the salt trays. One moment.
Okay.
Right here, this is a tray, and she shared with me what to do. You'll take your tray, and then on the tray, you're going to pour salt. I didn't bring salt with me tonight, but hey, that's okay. We're just going to imagine what that's going to look like. So you're going to pour your tray full of salt, and then you're going to write the child's name. They're going to do shapes. They're going to work with it. This is for a tactile learner and also for a visual learner. If you have younger children, what you're going to want to do is use sand. So just in case they touch their eyes, it's not going to burn because salt can burn the eyes, especially if you haven't washed them. So using trays like this are very helpful to practice with writing and things of that nature. I have an abacus right here. This is phenomenal with helping the children to learn their counting, their addition, their fractions. And so what you'll do is you'll have a child take the pieces and go down 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. Again, this is an excellent tool for all ages. When they're getting to high school, they don't necessarily need this, but from first grade up until fourth and fifth, this is an excellent tool to help your child with that sensory of touching because some children do better when they're allowed to touch and engage that way. Let me show a few more things that I have.
Okay.
My son Solomon loves to cook. He's an aspiring chef. So throughout the years, we have collected wooden pieces. Imagine that. Food. We can't eat it, but hey, he's playing with it. So you've got your hot dog, you've got your cheese. These are things that, again, help stimulate a kinetic learner, someone that has to touch. And so what I do is I'll say, Solomon, if we're building a sandwich, what parts of the sandwich? How do we put it together? You're teaching your child how to engage, how to interact with you, and then it's skills, it's problem solving. So we have a bag of these toys, put them in Ziplocs, and I can't encourage you enough to help your child to be organized because being organized in these first few weeks is very important because you're going to want to make sure, like if you have a conference call with your corporation or if you're doing different things from your computer, you want to be able to tell your child, this is where you go, pick up your things, and let me show you what that area would look like. Just one moment.
Okay.
This is something that my children go to throughout the week. This is my youngest son, and in here are crayons, markers, chalk, things that he can utilize for his homework throughout the week. And so we have it organized here. I'm going to tilt it so everybody can see it. Very inexpensive, and you put their homework in it, different games and activities. He's got his ruler here. We also have some financial literacy cards that he looks at to help him learn different aspects of math and responsibility and stewardship. We have chalk. We have erasers. So this is an area that you can create with your child. They can pick out their favorite stickers, and then you put it in a designated area so that when they wake up in the morning, their assignment will be there, and then they can go and get what they need throughout the day. So again, if you're preoccupied taking care of another child, each child will have their own area, a little cubby that they can go to and get their assignments, their activities, their color crayons, so that your family stays organized. Because sometimes as homeschooling parents, it's easy to have a lot of paperwork. It gets a little congested. So you want to make sure that things are as organized as they can be. But hey, if it happens where things fall out, it's okay. Put it back, start the next day, and just be patient with yourself. And that's something that I want to stress to parents. You're going to have moments where you're questioning, can I do this? And I want to definitely tell you that you can. When you take the time to look at what you're doing, you're educating your child. There's no person that is better on the planet to teach them than you. So if you have fears or anxieties, again, reach out to people like myself or Nadia. We'll give you our email information. And if you have questions, you can set up times that are appropriate for her and myself, and we'll walk you through this difficult time. Don't give up. If you have a day where you wake up and it's just like, I can't do this today, watch a documentary, watch a movie, and then have them write a report. Every day is going to be different. Structure is definitely important. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have it, but if something changes, don't be too hard on yourself. Again, this is a learning process, and we're all going to work and figure it out day by day. Let me see if there's
Okay.
some more questions.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just like you were saying, they could reach out for us for resources. Are there resources for homeschooling parents that a parent may be able to like find on the internet, or are there resources in certain cities or communities that they can reach
Yes.
out to if they need assistance?
Yes, I can hear you. There's a little bit of feedback from the mic, so I'm going to wait and just let that go through, then I'll answer that.
Okay.
Yes, there are several resources that you can find online. What I would encourage parents to do is go to Google, and in the search engine, type in homeschool communities or homeschooling groups. Once you put that into your search engine, it's going to give you a list of groups and activities and people that you can reach out and contact. So just familiarizing yourself with free worksheets. I know here in our home, excuse me, we'll go and we'll print out different things. And what I can definitely start working on is a list of websites and resources that parents can go to. So if they're still trying to figure out what they need to do, they can they'll be able to go to this resource, look at it, and then go through and find what's good for each child, because every child is going to have different skill sets. And then if they've been given work from the traditional school, public school, then I would make sure that you would be in contact with that teacher to figure out what it is for your child. But then if you do decide to transition to being at home, that's where I can come in, or Nadia, and help them find different things for their child. And I have no problem compiling a list of resources and books that I've used in the past and that I'm currently using.
Okay. Uh,
Let
Mitnick
me see.
Queen. She said, if anyone has sewing or knitting skills, you can teach your child any of your own personal skills in art, which they will learn math and science.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know for me, I love studying herbs and natural healing remedies. That's something that I truly enjoy doing. And so, whatever you're doing as a profession, encourage your child with that as well.
And we have another comment from Angela Hill. She said, I like, amongst a lot of what you mentioned financial literacy. Our children need this very much. So yeah, financial literacy is a major area that is not taught to children in even the public school systems, probably in the private school, but definitely not in the public. And so they're kind of behind once they graduate on how to just even open up a basic bank account and things like that. So I mean, those are things that you can incorporate into your lessons. Alexander here at my house, he learns a lot of science and agriculture and stuff because that's what I do. But a lot of chemistry, biology, all that falls in line with like everyday things that they're doing, like you know if they're eating a meal or if their clothes they're wearing comes from cotton or something. You can like explain that type of stuff and like explain that process, how that stuff is made. So everyday living is actually everyday teaching. All right, got some more comments here. Backyard Gardener said hello. Aaron Olinger said great show. Yeah, thank you, Aaron. We had some technical difficulties today, but we're getting through them.
Absolutely. Thank you. I want to share these financial literacy cards. And again, I didn't ask for permission to share with you. Just a moment. You're going to have challenges like this. My daughter's having a quick flare. I'll be right back. Just a moment. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you. I'm back. It's okay. My daughter's autistic, and this is another thing that families have to take into consideration. If you have a child that's on the spectrum, you're going to have moments where they're again transitioning. Just one moment. Khalil, what's the matter? Are you upset? Do you want something to drink? Let me have sister give you something to drink. It's okay. Just a minute. So, remaining calm, making sure that you talk to your child in a loving tone, yet authoritative, will help them come down. She's calm and she's right here. So let me get her situated. And while Nadia gets a few more questions, I'll be right back. Thank you for your patience. I'll be back. Thank you all.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions about getting started? Um, did you any of you parents that are out there have your schools like provided packets? Do they have like online systems that you're gonna have to use? Are they gonna have online education? I know with Alexander School, they just sent home a packet and they said that the packet is available on this thing called Schoology, but there was never any follow up about um, you know, his teacher's gonna, have them log in and she's actually gonna teach a lesson. I think it's more of like the parents are gonna have to teach those lessons on their own. So Four Horn Forum said schools are sending home homework, either online or a packet. If anyone needs help, teachers like
I'm
me are
back.
willing to help. So yeah, there's a lot of people out here that can help. I mean, teachers, they've been, isolated to their homes as well. A lot of them are not familiar with, actually running a online school. So all of this is a learning curve for everybody. But there are resources, and we have social media. We need to use social media for good, and
Whenever
not
you're
for.
ready, Nadia.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. We have social media. But we need to use it for, actually communicating amongst each other, across this nation. So if a teacher can teach a certain subject, say they're a fifth grade teacher and they do math, you know, they could, set
Yes,
aside
I
some
can hear
time
you.
on
Whenever
their
you're
day.
ready.
They can set aside some time of their day to, actually teach that lesson or things like that. But I'm gonna try to go back to Kyra. I'm not sure if she can hear me actually talking. I don't even know if you guys can hear me talking. But I'll go back to her. Hold on, I'll unmute her.
I'll be right back. Thank you for your patience.
Okay. All right. Four-Horn Farm said our district is giving computers to students who don't have one. The cable company is giving free internet to families who don't have internet. That's great. I don't know if Alexander School District even have enough computers for students if they don't have one. And I know a lot of the households did not have computers. All right. So Angela Hill said this is a very good show. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Thank you. I'm back.
All right. Go ahead, Kyra, and explain what you were going to explain about those cards.
Okay, thank you so much for your patience. And this is what I want to explain to families. You're a household, you're working together. When you have a child that's having a moment, this is when, as a mother, you take time to see what your child needs. And this is where we add into the love, building on the foundation of proper structure. Because again, it's not going to be a traditional classroom. So let me find those financial literacy cards just a minute. Can't find the financial literacy cards, but I've got some other ones. Just a moment. These are sight cards. Right here. It's very helpful. Again, I use this with Kalila because she is nonverbal. And we go A, B for bubble, C for cat, D for dog. These are, again, excellent for the child who is a kinetic and visual learner. And again, I want to stress you're going to have moments where it feels like every part, but in a household, this is a teachable moment. So what you weren't able to see off camera, my daughter was having a moment. I went and assessed the situation, gave her some essential oils, and because I'm a holistic mama, I used patchouli. Patchouli helps to relax and calm the child. You put this on the bridge of the nose. She's now in her room, relaxing and calm. But when you have moments like that, it's okay. Take a moment, do a deep breath, because I did one before I came back to camera. Got myself together. I'm back. And that's what you have to do. You work with the difficult moments. You don't allow the challenges to overtake you. And reach out to friends. I found these at the We Buy Black convention. Excellent resource. Friends have been a lifesaver for me. When I didn't know what to do, I've been homeschooling for a number of years, but I'm always learning. I'm always growing. So never feel like you can't ask for help. I have a high school, two children that graduated from high school, but my youngest son had a difficult time with writing. A really good friend gave me the salt tray. So be willing to work with other parents so that you can build where you are having struggles, your weaknesses, and you're going to grow and you're going to learn together. So don't give up when you have difficult days. You just keep moving forward, keep pushing, and you're going to get to your destination. Just don't give up. And like the other parents that are online, if you have a homeschooling program and you can offer it to your friends and family, offer suggestions. Don't be didactic in telling people what to do. Why don't you say, can I make a suggestion or can I offer this to you so that everyone feels comfortable in this learning and transitional time? There's no right or wrong. There's just a learning time for everyone.
Okay, so it's about 7:58. Were there any other questions or concerns or comments anyone had? Do you want to tell us a little bit about your business, Healing Way?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I love herbs and natural healing. And for a number of years after I had my first child, autoimmune disorder called atopic dermatitis. And during that time, my skin was very, very painful. And the doctors didn't know what to do. So when I was hospitalized, I didn't have anything but time. So I became self taught, studying, doing research. I became my own test subject. I created creams and different oils and nourishing blends to help me get better. And That's where I am on my journey. I love holistically living healthy. And I'll say that I'm an ongoing herbalist because you never stop learning. I learn from you, Nadia, all of the time. And so as you grow in what you're doing, you feel good about yourself. But I love me some herbs. Usually rub it on my wrist. Smells delicious. Or I'll cook something up in the kitchen, whip it up, taste it. That's what it is. It's the alchemy of learning and love, and that's what I love doing. I also work with yoni steam, vaginal steaming for women if you're postpartum, pre-pregnancy, and just because you don't have babies doesn't mean you can't be sassy. So it's important to take care of your body and your uterus and feel good about yourself. And I also believe in touching, healing yourself, speaking positive affirmations. So that's what I do with the healing way and homeschool too.
So if people wanted to get in touch with you, or what are some ways to contact you? I have your Instagram scrolling on the bottom of here, but what are some other ways people can get in touch with you?
I will give them my email, thehealingway1973@gmail.com. Working on a website, still working on the kinks of that, but you can reach me through my Instagram or through my email. Give me a few days with my children. I've got things up in the air, but I definitely will get back in contact with you. If I don't respond, I'm not ignoring anybody. But as you see, my life is full and I'm juggling it, but I will definitely make sure that I respond to those questions in a timely manner. Yes,
So
baby,
do you
what
have
you want?
any?
Okay, thank you, baby.
So do you have any products or anything that you sell personally? Like
Oh,
as far as homeschooling?
yes. Yes, I have my own bath and body care line that I created. It's called Free to Be Natural. And I created these bath and body care products because a lot of people going through the challenges of raising an autistic child are just stressed out. I created my own sugar scrubs, my brown sugar body buff. And now I'm working on compiling things for families that are going through this transitional time. So if they want to reach out to me, let me know what their child's strengths and weaknesses are, we can work together to create a packet for that child because again, this is about creating activities and items for children and families to grow together. I just don't want to sell a lot of products. It's not about making money. It is, I have bills to pay, but at the same time, I want families to know that when you're working with me, this is about a holistic aspect. It's body, mind, soul, and spirit. So I want to incorporate all of those parts in the piece, if that makes sense.
Yes. Thank you. So anybody have any other questions before we log on out of here? Any questions, or how is would this be day 4 of isolation?
I
How is
think
it
it's
going
day
for you
4 or 5.
guys?
Oh, one thing that I wanted to share. If you do decide to transition your children from public school to your home, that first week before school starts, you're going to write something called a declaration of intent. You're going to go and check your state's guidelines for homeschooling your child. Get that declaration, have it signed, your children, their grade, and then send that into the school district so that they have a record of what you're doing with your children. It's very important as homeschoolers to protect yourself financially with having problems in the future and legally. So always make sure that you're covering all your bases.
So where can you find those declarations? Are
You're
they
going
like
to
on
go
the?
again to your screen and type in declaration of intent for the public school district of where you're living, city, state, and county, and then you're going to
Okay.
fill out and have it submitted. Also, keep a copy for yourself as well
Okay.
in the home.
So one quick question: when it comes to children that are homeschooled, do they have to abide by those state tests and things like that?
I encourage families to test periodically to see where their children are. And that's why it's important that folder that I had showed you before. Some children have test anxiety, and I encourage parents to keep that as documentation of proof of their child's ability, what they're learning, as opposed to what they're not learning. Because there are a lot of people like myself that don't do tests well. Until they get into high school, just keep chronological order of the things that they're studying, projects, and you can use that to present if needed. But as they get older, it's good to do quizzes, time things, and then you can chronologically keep that in order. And then reach out to your local homeschooling communities and see if they have testing areas where you can take your child and have them tested, and then keep that in file as well.
All right. Well, thank you for this information. It was very
You're
helpful.
welcome. Girl, I was nervous before we came on, but I made it through. I made it through.
Yeah, you were a trooper because you had to hold your own. I was like
Girl,
knocked out of there.
I was like, help me through it. I had my B. I was like, yes, I'm doing my B. Help me to be through it. So I made it.
So, like I said, if you want to contact her, she gave you your email. You can also watch a replay of this video. It'll be uploaded on my YouTube once the video is rendered on YouTube server. You can go back and watch it. And if you want to contact
on the shoulders of so many that came before me, Marva Collins, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, all of those people that came before me, I'm standing on those shoulders. And I thank you, Nadia, for working a sister through it, because it was tough, but you gave me the encouragement I needed. I did it.
Yes. All right, so if you guys don't have any other questions, we're going to log out, and
all right.
We'll see you on we'll see you next. I'll actually see you guys on Sunday. I have another live coming up on Sunday. So all right.
I look forward to talking to you all soon. Have a good night.
Bye.
Okay, bye.